All right, mates, we've set the stage. Australia's financial landscape is tougher than a wallaby's scrum, but it's not unbeatable. Now let's roll up our sleeves and unpack 3 core lessons wealthy Australian parents teach their kids to build wealth, dodge debt, and secure a future brighter than a summer day in Frio. These aren't pie-in-the-sky ideas. They're practical, scalable strategies you can start today, whether you're scraping by in Sydney's rental market or eyeing a comfy retirement in Tassie. Think of this as your financial toolbox packed with gear to fix leaks and build something solid. Let's dive in. Lesson 1. Master the debt dragon with the snowball. Method first up, wealthy parents teach their kids to slay debt like it's a rogue croc in the top end. Debt's a beast. Credit cards, HECS, mortgages, it's like a kangaroo. That'll knock you flat if you're not ready. The average Aussie household's lugging $6,000 in credit card debt, with interest rates chewing through wallets faster than a dingo on a campsite. But here's the trick. The debt snowball method. A strategy that's helped millions globally and works like a charm down under. Here's how it goes. Step 1. List all your debts, from that afterpay splurge to your car loan. Step 2. Order them from smallest to largest, ignoring interest rates for now. Step 3. Pay minimums on everything but throw every spare cent at the smallest debt. Step 4. Once it's gone, roll that payment into the next smallest debt. It's like knocking over pins at 10-pin bowling. One by one, they fall faster. Let's meet Chloe, a 25-year-old barista from Melbourne. Chloe had 3 debts: $2,000 on a credit card, $5,000 on a personal loan, and $10,000 in HECS. She was barely keeping up, feeling like she was sprinting to stand still. Then she tried the snowball. She cut out 1 coffee a day, saving $10 a week, and threw it at her credit card. In 6 months, it was gone. She rolled that payment into her personal loan, clearing it in 18 months. Now she's tackling HECS with bigger payments, and her stress is lower than the crowd at a preseason NRL game. Why does this work? Psychology. Small wins build momentum, like nailing a cover drive in backyard cricket. Data backs it up. Studies show people using the snowball method pay off debt 30% faster than those juggling high-interest debts first. In Australia, where credit card rates hit 20%, that's a game changer. Here's your challenge. Pause for 30 seconds. Grab a pen or your phone and list your debts, smallest to largest. Done? Great. Pick one to attack this week. Even $20 extra makes a dent. Comment below. What's your smallest debt? Let's start a snowball revolution. Lesson 2. Invest. Early with ASX ETFs for long-term growth next, wealthy parents drill this into their kids. Investing isn't just for suits in Macquarie Street. It's for everyone. Think of it like planting a eucalyptus seed. Small now, but give it time, and it's a towering tree. The ASX 200's averaged 7% annual returns over the last decade, and exchange-traded funds, ETFs, are the easiest way to grab a slice of that growth. ETFs, like Vanguard's VS or BetaShares A200, track the ASX, spreading your money across giants like BHP, Combank, and Woolies without needing a finance degree. Take Liam, a 32-year-old nurse from Adelaide. Liam started investing $200 a month into VAS 5 years ago via a micro-investing app like Raiz. With an average return of 7%, his $5,000 grew to over $7,000, despite market wobbles. If he keeps it up for 20 years, that could hit $50,000, enough for a deposit on a unit or a boost to his super. Compounding's the secret sauce. Your money earns money, like a Barbie that keeps cooking snags without extra coals. Here's the step-by-step. 1. Open an account with a platform like ComSec or Rise. Takes 10 minutes. 2. Set up a regular investment, even $50 a month. 3. Pick a low-fee ETF like VAS, with fees under 0.1%. 4. Automate it and forget it. The mess. ASX's long-term growth outpaces inflation's 3 to 4%, so your money's working harder than a shearer in the outback. Worried about crashes? Fair call. Markets dip, like the 2020 COVID slump. But the ASX rebounded, and ETFs diversify your risk. Wealthy parents teach their kids to stay calm, like a surfer waiting for the next wave. Start small, stay consistent, and time's your mate. Challenge time. Check your budget. Can you redirect $20 a week from Uber Eats to an ETF? Comment your plan. Let's grow some eucalyptus trees together. Lesson 3. Supercharge your super with small tweaks. Third, wealthy parents treat. Super like a reef of coral. Protect it, nurture it, and it'll thrive. The average 40-year-old Aussie has $150,000 in super, but with a few tweaks, that can balloon to $1 million by 65, enough for a comfy retirement with Barbie nights and trips to the Great Ocean Road. Super's tax-advantaged, meaning contributions grow faster than a regular savings account, and employers chip in 11% of your salary. Meet Aisha, a 45-year-old freelancer from Sydney. Aisha's super was stuck at $80,000, barely enough for a modest retirement. She learned 2 tricks from a wealthy mentor. First, she boosted voluntary contributions by $200 a month, reducing her taxable income and growing her super tax-free. Second, she switched her fund to a low-fee, high-growth option, shaving 0.5% off fees. 5 years later, her balance is $120,000, and projections show she'll hit $800,000 by 60, enough for a Bondi apartment or a caravan adventure. Here's how to do it. Step 1. Log into your super account. Most Aussies haven't checked theirs in years. Step 2. Compare fees and performance on sites like Super Ratings. Step 3. Consider salary sacrificing up to the $27,000 annual cap if your budget allows. Step 4. Review your investment mix. High-growth options suit younger Aussies, while balanced funds work for those nearing retirement. Data shows a 1% fee reduction can add $100,000 to your super over 20 years. Interactive moment. Pause and check your super balance online. Takes 5 minutes. What's your number? Comment it. Let's see who's building the biggest coral reef. And here's a teaser. The next lesson's a hack so powerful it's like finding a shortcut through the Blue Mountains. It's saved Aussies millions, and it's dead simple. These 3 lessons, slaying debt, investing in ETFs, and supercharging super, are the backbone of wealth building. They're not flashy, but they're like a good meat pie. Simple, reliable, and bloody effective. Wealthy parents don't just teach their kids to earn, they teach them to keep, grow, and protect. Start with 1 lesson today and you're already ahead of 70% of Aussies without a plan. Up next, we'll talk long-term wealth, but first, picture this. A sun-soaked afternoon on Bondi Beach, waves crashing, and you're sipping a flat white, knowing your bank account's sorted, your super's growing, and your kids are set for life. Sounds like a dream, right? But what if that dream's closer than you think? Here's a question to jolt you. What do wealthy Australian parents know about money that most of us don't? I'm talking about the kind of wisdom that turns a kid from a surfy dreaming of a ute into a savvy investor owning a slice of the ASX 200. Here's a stat that'll stop you in your tracks. Only 30% of Australians have a solid financial plan, yet the top 1%, those parents driving Land Cruisers to private schools in Toorak or Mosman, teach their kids lessons that all but guarantee wealth. Their secret? It's not just about money. It's about mindset, habits, and a few clever tricks anyone can learn. Building wealth in Australia is like climbing Uluru. It's tough, it takes grit, but the view from the top? Absolutely worth it. Today, we're diving into a 60-minute journey to uncover 5 financial lessons wealthy Australian parents drill into their kids. Lessons that can transform your future, whether you're a 20-something barista in Melbourne, a 40-something tradie in Perth, or a retiree in the Gold Coast eyeing a comfy super. These aren't just tips. They're a roadmap to financial freedom, rooted in the realities of Sydney's million-dollar house prices, the RBA's 4.35% cash rate, and the hustle of keeping up with Coles's rising grocery bills. By the end of this video, you'll have a plan to dodge debt, grow your wealth, and maybe even retire early enough to watch the Melbourne Cup from a yacht. But here's the kicker. There's one mistake. Yep, one big, fat, Vegemite-smeared mistake that's costing Australians millions every year. Stick around to find out what it is and how to avoid it. So, grab a Tim Tam, hit that like button, and let's get cracking on building a future as bright as a summer arvo in Freo. Let's set the scene. It's a Saturday morning in Brisbane, and Sarah, a 35-year-old school teacher, is staring at her laptop, heart sinking. Her mortgage statement just landed. Another reminder that her dream home in Paddington is eating half her pay. She's got 2 kids, a maxed-out credit card from last Christmas's Boxing Day sales at Chadstone, and a super balance that's barely budged since she started teaching. Sound familiar? Maybe you're not Sarah, but you know the feeling. Juggling bills, dodging Coles's price hikes, and wondering if you'll ever afford that holiday to the Whitsundays. Here's the brutal truth. Life in Australia isn't cheap. The median house price in Sydney's hit $1.2 million, and Melbourne's not far behind. The Reserve Bank's cash rate's sitting at 4.35%, pushing mortgage repayments through the roof. Inflation's hovering around 3 to 4%, so your weekly shop at Woolies feels like a luxury. And get this, 40% of Aussies don't have an emergency fund. That's right. Nearly half of us are one car breakdown away from financial stress. It's no wonder so many feel like the system's rigged, like you're sprinting on a treadmill that's only getting faster. Now, let's talk about Jack, a 28-year-old Sparky from Perth. Jack's a classic Aussie bloke, loves his footy, cracks a cold one with his mates at the pub, and dreams of owning a block in Margaret River. But last year, he was drowning in 20 grand of credit card debt from a ute he had to have, and a Bucks weekend that got out of hand. He felt trapped, like he was surfing a rip current with no way out. Ever been there? That gut punch moment when you check your bank account and it's lower than the crowd at a pre-season AFL match? It's not your fault. The cost of living's skyrocketing, and nobody teaches you how to handle money. School drills you on Pythagoras' theorem, but skips the bit about dodging HEX debt or investing in ETFs. Society pushes you to live a little, buy that new iPhone, book that Bali trip, while whispering, don't worry about tomorrow. But tomorrow comes, and it's got a bill attached. The average Australian household's lugging around $6,000 in credit card debt, and for many, super's just a vague number on a payslip, not a ticket to freedom. But here's where the tide turns. Jack? He's not stuck anymore. A mate sat him down over a Barbie and shared a few lessons. Lessons wealthy Australian parents teach their kids from the cradle. These aren't just about dollars and cents. They're about thinking differently, like swapping a short-term buzz for long-term wins. Jack started small, cut his spending, threw extra cash at his debt, and opened a Rise account to invest $50 a month. 2 years later, he's debt-free, his super's growing, and he's eyeing a deposit for that Margaret River block. If Jack can do it, so can you. Let's ground this in some numbers. The ASX 200's delivered an average return of 7% a year over the last decade. That means $100 invested today could grow to over 200 in 10 years, without you lifting a finger. Super's even sweeter. Aussies aged 40 have an average balance of $150,000, but those who tweak their contributions early can hit $1 million by retirement. That's enough for a comfy life, whether you're sipping Pinots in the Barossa or cheering the Swans at the SCG. This isn't just about stats, it's about hope. Building wealth in Australia is like waiting for rain in the outback. It takes patience, but when it comes, it transforms everything. Wealthy parents know this. They teach their kids to see money as a tool, not a trap. They don't just hand over a trust fund, they pass down habits, like planting a eucalyptus seed that grows into a towering tree. And the best part? You don't need a harborside mansion or a CEO's salary to start. Whether you're a barista in Fitzroy, a nurse in Hobart, or a retiree in Cairns, these lessons work. Let's talk about why this matters. Aussies value a fair go, right? We're the land of mateship, where you shout around at the pub and help a neighbor after a bushfire. But financial stress steals that spirit. It's hard to enjoy a sunset surf at Manly when you're worried about next month's rent. The good news? You're not alone and you're not powerless. Wealthy parents teach their kids to flip the script, to see challenges as opportunities, like spotting a gap in the surf to paddle through. Here's a quick challenge to spark some thought. Pause this video for 10 seconds and ask yourself, what's one money worry keeping me up at night? Is it debt? A house deposit? Retirement? Jot it down. That's your starting line. We're about to unpack 5 lessons that'll turn that worry into a plan, like plotting a road trip from Sydney to Uluru, step by step, with a clear destination. But before we dive into those lessons, let me tease what's coming. One of these lessons, a trick wealthy parents swear by, could have saved Aussies billions last year. It's so simple you'll kick yourself for not knowing it sooner. Stick with me because we're about to crack open a toolbox that'll change how you think about money, from dodging debt to building a super that'd make a Macquarie Street banker jealous. We've just taken a 60-minute journey through the financial playbook of Australia's wealthiest parents, and if you're still here, you're already ahead of 70% of Aussies who don't have a plan. Let's take a moment to soak it in, like catching the last rays of a sunset over Bondi. You're not just learning about money, you're building freedom, the kind that lets you cheer at the MCG without checking your bank balance, or retire early enough to sail the Whitsundays while you're still young enough to enjoy it. Let's recap the 5 lessons that can turn your financial dreams into reality, then light a fire under you to take action today. First, we tackled debt with the snowball method, slaying those credit card bills and hex debts like a croc hunter, in the top end. Chloe, our Melbourne barista, showed us how knocking out small debts builds momentum, freeing up cash to grow wealth. Second, we dove into investing with ASX ETFs like VAS, planting eucalyptus seeds that grow into towering trees. Liam, the Adelaide nurse, proved you don't need a fat wallet to start. Just $50 a month and some patience. Third, we supercharged super, turning that coral reef of savings into $1 million retirement fund. Aisha, our Sydney freelancer, showed how small tweaks like low fees and extra contributions can transform your future. Fourth, we built a diversified portfolio, spreading your bets like a well-packed esky for stability. Lisa, the Melbourne nurse, mixed property, shares, and savings to retire with $800,000, proving balance beats betting it all on one horse. And fifth, we planned retirement like an AFL Grand Final, with Tom, the Brisbane tradie, consolidating accounts and optimizing funds to hit $700,000 by 67. The glue? A millionaire mindset, discipline, delayed gratification, and thinking long-term, like a boomerang thrown with precision. These lessons aren't just tips. They're a roadmap, like navigating the Great Barrier of Coral. Steer wisely, and the rewards are endless. Wealthy Australian parents don't hand their kids a silver spoon. They give them a mindset and tools to carve their own path. And here's the beauty. You don't need a harborside mansion or a CEO's salary to start. Whether you're a 20-something scraping by in Surrey Hills, a 40-something juggling a mortgage in Perth, or a retiree in Cairns eyeing extra income, these strategies work. The ASX's 7% returns, Super's tax breaks, and Australia's property market are your playground. If you know how to play, let's get real for a second. Building wealth isn't easy. It's like climbing Uluru. Sweaty, slow, and sometimes you slip. Sydney's $1.2 million house prices, the RBA's 4.35% cash rate, and inflation's 3 to 4% bite don't help. But every step forward, every debt you crush, every dollar you invest, gets you closer to the top. And the view? It's not just money, it's choices. Time for Barbie nights with mates, surf trips to Bells Beach, or leaving a legacy for your kids. That's what wealthy parents teach. Money's a tool for freedom, not a trap. Here's your moment to act. I'm throwing down a 7-day challenge to kickstart your journey, and it's simpler than snagging a park at the Boxing Day test. Day 1. List your debts, smallest to largest, and pick one to attack with an extra $20 this week. Day 2. Check your super balance online, takes 5 minutes, and note your fees. Day 3. Download a micro-investing app like Rise and set up a $10 weekly investment. Day 4. Identify one expense to cut, maybe that extra flat white, and redirect it to savings. Day 5. Research one ETF, like VAS or A200, and read its fact sheet. Day 6. Talk to a mate or family member about one lesson from this video. Spread the wealth vibe. Day 7. Comment below with your progress. What did you do? What's your big financial goal? This challenge isn't just busy work, it's your first step, like paddling out to catch your first wave. Wealthy parents know small actions compound, like a few bucks invested today turning into thousands by the time you're cheering at the Melbourne Cup in your 60s. And here's a stat to fire you up. Aussies who start investing at 30, with just $100 a month can hit $200,000 by 60, thanks to the ASX's growth. You're not just building wealth, you're building a life. Now, for the big finish, our call to action. Your financial journey's like navigating the great ocean road. Winding, wild, but oh so worth it. So, let's make a pact, you and me, right here, right now. Comment below. What's your first step toward financial freedom? Is it smashing a debt, starting an ETF, or checking your super? Be specific, say, I'm cutting out Uber Eats to invest $50 a month, or I'm consolidating my super this week. Then, hit that like button to lock in your commitment. Subscribe for more videos to keep you on track, and share this with a mate who needs a nudge, maybe that friend who's always skint before payday. Together, we're not just building wealth, we're starting a movement, like a wave rolling, from Bondi to Burleigh Heads. One last thought. The biggest mistake Aussies make? Waiting for a bigger paycheck, a cheaper house, or a better time. Wealthy parents teach their kids there's no perfect moment, just the moment you start. So don't wait for the next RBA rate cut or the next bull market. Your future's waiting, and it's brighter than a summer Arvo in the outback. Let's do this. Comment, like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you in the next video, building a life as big as Australia itself. We're in the home stretch now, mates, and it's time to look beyond the daily grind to the big picture. Building wealth that lasts, like a boomerang that always comes back. Wealthy Australian parents don't just teach their kids to dodge debt or invest a few bucks. They show them how to create a financial legacy, one that'll see them sipping cocktails on the Gold Coast in retirement or passing down a nest egg to their own kids. This is about sustainability, discipline, and thinking long-term, like planning a road trip from Perth to Sydney with enough fuel to enjoy the ride. Let's unpack 2 final lessons that tie it all together, plus a mindset shift that'll change how you see money forever. Lesson 4. Build a diversified wealth portfolio for stability. Wealthy parents teach their kids that putting all your eggs in one basket is riskier than betting on the Melbourne Cup without checking the form guide. A diversified portfolio is like a well-packed esky, something for every situation. In Australia, that means spreading your money across assets that grow, protect and pay you back, like ASX shares, property, and passive income streams. The ASX 200 7% average return is solid, but markets wobble. Think 2020's COVID dip. Property's a classic Aussie love, with median house prices at $800,000 nationally, but it's not liquid. The trick? Balance. Take Lisa, a 55-year-old nurse from Melbourne. 10 years ago, Lisa had $100,000 in super and a small investment property in Geelong. She was nervous about markets, thinking shares were for suits, not scrubs. But a wealthy colleague shared a lesson. Diversify to sleep easy. Lisa kept her property for rental income, added $20,000 to an ETF like VDHG for growth, and parked $10,000 in a high-interest savings account for emergencies. Today, her portfolio's worth $300,000, with dividends from shares like BHP paying for her annual Tassie holiday. If she'd stuck to one asset, she'd be half as far along. Here's the playbook. Step 1. Assess your current assets, super, savings, maybe a side hustle. Step 2. Allocate funds across 3 buckets: growth, ETFs, shares, income, dividend stocks, rental properties, and safety, savings, bonds. Step 3. Rebalance yearly, like pruning a gum tree to keep it healthy. Step 4. Leverage Australia's tax breaks, like franking credits on ASX dividends, which can boost returns by 30%. Data shows diversified portfolios cut risk by 20% compared to single asset strategies, perfect for weathering RBA rate hikes or global market shakes. Worried about starting small? Don't be. Even $1,000 split between an ETF and a savings account is a start. Wealthy parents teach their kids to think like farmers. Plant today, harvest tomorrow. Interactive challenge. Pause for 10 seconds. What's one asset you could add to your portfolio this year? Shares, a term deposit, or even a course to boost your side hustle? Comment your pick. Let's build some Eskies together. Lesson 5. Plan your retirement. Like a grand final victory, retirement's the end game, and wealthy parents coach their kids to treat it like the AFL Grand Final, plan meticulously, play hard, and celebrate big. The Association of Superannuation Funds says you need $1.5 million in super for a comfortable retirement, covering Barbie nights, footy tickets, and a yearly trip to the Whitsundays. The average Aussie aged 50 has $200,000 in super, but small tweaks now can close that gap, like kicking a goal from the boundary. Meet Tom, a 60-year-old tradie from Brisbane. Tom thought retirement was for old blokes, so he ignored his super until his 50s. At 55, he had $100,000, nowhere near enough. A wealthy client shared a game plan: consolidate, optimize, and protect. Tom merged 3 super accounts, saving $2,000 a year in fees. He shifted to a balanced fund with 5% returns, added $500 a month via salary sacrifice, and set up a transition to retirement strategy to draw income tax-free. By 60, his super's at $300,000, and projections show $700,000 by 67, enough for a caravan and a fishing boat. Here's how you do it. Step 1. Consolidate multiple super accounts using the ATO's online tool. Takes 15 minutes. Step 2. Pick a fund with fees under 1% and returns beating inflation's 3 to 4%. Step 3. Max out concessions, like the $27,000 annual contribution cap if your SAWE budget allows. Step 4. Plan your drawdown. Experts suggest withdrawing 4% of your super annually to make it last. Data shows Aussies who consolidate and optimize their super boost their balance by 15% over 10 years. Quick challenge. Log into your super account this week and check for duplicate funds. Found any? Comment, caught one, or share your super goal. This is your grand final. Start training now. The millionaire mindset. Discipline over flash. Here's the glue that holds these lessons together. Wealthy parents teach their kids a millionaire mindset: discipline, delayed gratification, and long-term thinking. It's not about flaunting a Rolex or a Range Rover. It's about consistency, like showing up to preseason training even when it's raining. Studies show millionaires spend less than they earn, invest regularly, and avoid lifestyle creep, buying a bigger house just because you got a raise. In Australia, where the cost of living's high, this mindset's gold. Think of your wealth like a boomerang. Throw it right, and it returns bigger. Skip that extra flat white, invest the $10 a week, and in 20 years, that's $6,000 at 7% growth. Say no to a flashy car loan, and you've got $20,000 to diversify your portfolio. Wealthy parents drill this into their kids. Every dollar's a choice. Spend it on today or invest it in tomorrow. Let's wrap this section with inspiration. Lisa, our nurse, retired at 60 with $800,000, not because she earned a fortune, but because she diversified, planned, and stayed disciplined. Her secret? She saw wealth as freedom. Time for family, travel, and volunteering at her local surf club. You can do this too, whether you're 25 or 65. Up next, we'll tie it all together with a call to action that'll get you moving faster than a roux on the Bruce Highway. But first,